Final Fantasy VII, Ocarina of Time, Deus Ex. Besides being all-time classics, these video games all have something in common. They all look like shit by today's standards. A lot of gamers claim not to care about a game's visuals, and while I'm sure that's true for some people, I think most of them are frankly full of shit. No one wants a new game to come out that looks like the inside of my anal cavity. Most players really mean that they don't care about a game's graphical fidelity, but totally do care about art design. I don't think anyone in their right mind would disagree that Super Brothers 2D pixel art is heartbreakingly gorgeous in comparison to the dull 3D world of Watch Dogs. God, that game puts me to sleep. Which is funny, because Sleeping Dogs is actually gorgeous. I digress. Final Fantasy VII and Ocarina of Time both featured wonderful art design, which has helped them to stand the test of time in spite of the horrifying polygonal monstrosities that don't feel at home at all in the world surrounding them. However, there's also no denying that if these games were released today with the visuals that they had then no one would be interested. It simply would not be deemed acceptable with the power of modern technology and the standards of the current industry. These games would need to look at least as good as Dark Souls to even stand a chance in today's market, and as it stands, they are no Dark Souls. So why is it that these games still get replayed and heralded as classics to this day? This isn't a case like GoldenEye, where the game is considered fantastically influential and important, but nearly unplayable by modern standards. Final Fantasy VII, Ocarina of Time, and Deus Ex hold up to their legacy, with mechanics that still excite players to this day in spite of how many countless games have been built upon them. So why do modern players make allowances for these games that they would never make for a game released today? The answer you'll often hear is nostalgia, which is very correct, but often followed by blindness, which I think is incorrect. In this case, nostalgia comes in two forms: personal nostalgia and cultural nostalgia. Personal nostalgia is based on the player's past experience with the work. Maybe they played the game back when it was new, or at a developmental stage in their life, or before consuming other works in the medium. These previous experiences cause the player to see things differently than if the game had appeared before them right now. Cultural nostalgia is more of a broad collective understanding of cultural heritage, which can be felt even by those born after the time when the works were created. Even if you never played an N64 game, you might have a general understanding of the limitations present in technology at the time the game was released, and be willing to make allowances based on that. In both cases, nostalgia allows a player to hold the game to a different standard and not judge it on the same terms that they would a modern game. Some would call this ability to soften judgment on older works nostalgia blindness, and if your ultimate goal was to rank all of the games ever created on a consistent scale based on visuals, I could maybe understand this. However, in general, I think that nostalgia doesn't blind the player so much as that it allows them to open their eyes. To see nostalgia's ability to make players accept an old game as a bad thing suggests that players should hold themselves to some consistent, decided upon standard, and is the realm of those who wish to herald their tastes above others, i.e. douchebags. But really, functional nostalgia is a good thing. It gives us the opportunity to look back and appreciate old media. Nostalgia is born of memory and history. It carries the feeling of knowing where we've come from and gives us the sense of where we are and where we may be going. It's a powerful, often positive emotion, and if a game can evoke nostalgia, that makes it better, not worse. If you want to determine a game's quality, what matters is only results. Do people love the game or don't they? If they love the visuals in Final Fantasy VII because of nostalgia, that's no less valid a form of love than loving a modern game for its technical achievement and graphical fidelity. Nostalgia is just one more way by which we love games, and I can't see how that's a bad thing.
Tell me, where are you driving? Midnight cruiser, where is your bounty on fortune and fame? I am another gentleman loser.